Tonight on CTV News at 6, filled up with unleaded and water. What a mechanic found inside broken down vehicles full of suspected bad gas.
Definitely not a coincidence. This is the same exact mixture of fuel for all these customers.
Expanding sports betting in Alberta.
We're trying to create a regulated, legal format for those that want to participate in online gambling.
And
we are bonded forever. I mean, that's the closest four humans can be and not be a family.
The crew of the Artemis 2 reflects on their extraterrestrial experience.
A little more sunshine in the forecast in the coming days, and temperatures really starting to warm up.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. A 50-50 mix of water and gas was found in samples taken from several vehicles that left drivers stranded after filling up at a gas station in southeast Edmonton. Amanda Anderson has more on the next steps for those affected.
These are 4 separate samples of fuel pulled out of customers' vehicles.
Samples taken from the gas tanks of vehicles that broke down soon after filling up at the same gas station. It's left staff at Cross Mitsubishi busier than usual. 7 vehicles, all with the same issue.
Definitely not a coincidence. This is the same exact mixture of fuel for all these customers. All have had a mixture of a water content to fuel, and it's about a 50-50 mix.
Colton Williams says 2 more vehicles are being towed here for repairs.
Don't drive the car. The more you drive the car, the more that fuel is going to go through the system and potentially damage other components.
Dozens of drivers have reported the same issue after filling up at this Esso on Ellerslie Road. On Wednesday, Circle K said extra checks were being done on the integrity of the fuel system after customer complaints. It also said no fuel supply issues had been identified. Today, the company did not respond to our questions or provide an update. People who think they bought contaminated gas may be covered by insurance if they added comprehensive or all perils to their policy.
Keep any proof that you have, so receipts of repairs that you made, your gas receipt, all of that, and your insurance company adjuster can let you know the next step from there.
She also says to let them know others are in the same situation.
Send your insurance company these kinds of news reports. Then these insurance companies then may get together and subrogate, that's what they call when they go after the gas bars insurance company.
The problem has also gotten the attention of the Service Alberta and Red Tape Reduction Minister.
And we've been encouraging them to reach out to the Consumer Protection Unit because that's the first avenue that they have to go.
An official complaint to Consumer Protection hasn't been made yet. Once there is, the department will decide if an investigation is required. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
After weeks of accusations of playing politics with Alberta's electoral map, the UCP plans to create a government-led committee to start a review of recent recommendations. The opposition says the provincial government is attempting to rig future elections in its favor while ignoring the opinions of Albertans. Connor Hogg reports.
What we're trying to do is preserve the representation in rural Alberta, just as the judge recommended, and we ask members opposite to vote with us.
This disrespects rural and urban voters. Why are they doing this?
The provincial government is making a motion to establish a review board in the ongoing redrawing of Alberta's election riding boundaries. It also wants to create 2 new ridings. An independent review panel delivered a report last month presenting potential new riding maps. 2 UCP-appointed members of that panel broke rank and authored a minority report. Opposition leader Naheed Nenshi says those changes to Alberta's electoral map amount to cheating and gerrymandering.
They dissolved Red Deer into the ridings around it. They got rid of Lethbridge entirely and moved it to the U.S. border. Calgary is unrecognizable.
You don't want to have, let's say, a city carved up like a pie where there are more rural votes in a constituency than there are urban votes.
The motion would create a new panel to start from scratch with the goal of increasing Alberta's riding count.
They will have access to all of the information that the Electoral Boundary Commission has been able to collect, and we look forward to working with that advisory panel and going over all that information.
Political scientist Laurie Williams says if the new panel does not collect its own public feedback, that could lead to legal challenges against the new results.
If they don't fit the constitutional requirements, then the court could basically strike down or erase the changes that have been introduced.
Former lawyers say the government's actions undermine confidence in the electoral process.
Ethically, it's highly problematic. It is eroding the democratic rights of Albertans to have input.
If the motion passes, a new review committee will have until the fall to deliver a report and updated electoral map. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
RCMP are looking for a man they say exposed himself multiple times at a Sherwood Park pet store. RCMP say last Friday night the man entered the store off Baseline Road and Broadmoor Boulevard. They say he exposed his genitals twice to a female employee. RCMP say this is the second time the man has done this at that business. They say back in February he exposed and touched his genitals in front of a store worker. He's described as a white man in his early 30s with an average build and light brown or dark blonde hair and beard. Developers say it's time for a reset on the conversation around infill housing. Industry group Build Edmonton Metro has put together an action plan it believes can address community concerns as the pace of infill projects continues to rise. Jeremy Thompson reports.
Our neighborhoods are not adapting. They are suffering.
It's no secret how some Edmontonians feel about the wave of infill homes being built in mature neighborhoods.
Some of these eightplexes are, let's face it, but ugly.
City Council is attempting to address public concerns by tweaking the rules for infill. Now the development industry says it's time to reset the conversation.
These are people's homes. This is where people live. We have to be sure as an industry that we're out there doing a great job and making sure that we're proud of the products we're building and that the neighborhood is enhanced as a result of us being there.
Build Edmonton Metro unveiled a 22-point infill action plan at a luncheon for developers. The industry group believes its plan can cool community concerns while accelerating infill projects.
Everybody that's involved in this plan wants predictability. We need consistency. Then neighbors know what to expect, builders know what they're going to do, and that's just like the source of a lot of the solutions here.
The plan outlines short-term actions like setting up a construction accountability program for better communication between the city, developers, and neighbors. Build says an improved permitting process within a year will help builders keep up with demand, and longer term, a better inspection process could ensure higher quality housing. Councillor Reid Clark wants to see consistent enforcement, and that means more money for bylaw officers.
What's the point of having policies and bylaws if we don't have the people and the means to enforce them?
Infill is still a hot topic at City Hall. Later this month, Council will vote on proposed changes to infill rules, including a maximum height reduction. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Imperial Oil is apologizing for a pipeline spill in northern Alberta last week. Roughly 843,000 litres of crude bitumen and salt water leaked from a pipeline located about 32 kilometres northwest of Cold Lake. The company says cleanup and remediation work is nearly complete. Imperial Oil and the Alberta Energy Regulator are investigating the cause. Neither group is reporting any impacts to water or wildlife. As the province grows its iGambling and sports betting platform, local addictions experts worry more people may struggle with gambling problems, especially with the NHL playoffs about to begin. Evan Kenny has more.
Your starting lineup brought to you by our friends at Bet99.
Within the first minute of watching an Oilers game, you'll likely see one of these ads.
At EdmontonOilers.com/5050.
From 50/50 to online sportsbooks, a Norquest College instructor says these ads run up to 60 times each game.
It's constant throughout the game, so if someone was particularly vulnerable, then they might be more inclined to then place an impulsive bet.
Alana Brown is a mental health and addictions instructor at Norquest. She says 1 in 5 Canadians have reported placing a sports bet in the past year.
There are certainly risks associated with problem gambling, including higher chance of developing depressive disorder, anxiety disorder, substance use issues, as well as elevated suicide risk.
And because of the Oilers' diehard fan base, she's concerned the intensity of the playoffs could push some people too far.
You also want to be aware of your own emotional state of mind. It's a high-intensity, emotionally charged game.
Soon, Albertans will have more platforms to gamble on. The online sportsbook and casino, DraftKings, is coming to Alberta in July.
What we're doing is we're trying to create a regulated, legal format for those that want to participate in online gambling that is a little bit safer than the black market today.
The minister says people are betting online anyway, and the province wants to make sure they're doing it in a responsible way. That's why it has introduced the iGambling Act to regulate the market.
If there was a red button that I could push that would stop online gambling, I would push that button, but it doesn't exist.
MGM's got all the sports betting in one place.
For people placing bets, Canada's gambling guidelines suggest only doing so once a week and to avoid using multiple formats at once and set a price limit.
Drain that three!
Evan Kenny, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Edmonton Oilers can secure home ice advantage in the first round of the playoffs if they win their final game of the season tonight.
It's definitely important to us. Starting the playoffs in front of this fan base and this building obviously gives you a lot of life and it kind of kickstarts you right off the bat.
The Oilers host the Vancouver Canucks at Rogers Place tonight. Edmonton will face either Anaheim, Los Angeles, or Colorado in the first round. If the Oilers win tonight, they'll play the Ducks or the Kings. Lose, and they could face the NHL's top team, the Avalanche.
Whatever happens, happens. Whether we start on the road or against the top team in the league, I think our group has a lot of confidence in playing whoever it is.
Forward Zach Hyman is expected to return tonight after missing the last 5 games with an injury. Leon Draisaitl has been skating but remains sidelined. Connor Ingram will start in goal. Well, despite the snow on the ground today, the city will be collecting spring yard waste this coming Monday. You're asked to put your waste in see-through plastic or paper bags. There's no cap on the number of bags you can put out. The city set the collection date in advance. If you miss this one, there will be a second pickup sometime between May and June. Well, another spring storm left Edmonton covered in snow. Our area saw between 2 and 5 centimeters over the last 24 hours. Drivers had to contend with slushy, icy roads during their commutes earlier. RCMP warned drivers about poor conditions on some highways as well. Meanwhile, in Calgary, drivers were hit with an even heavier blanket of snow. Calgary police say since midnight there were 150 crashes, 30 involving drivers hitting other vehicles and taking off. Roads weren't any better outside city limits, with many cars ending up in the ditch. The weather also caused a few delays at the Calgary airport. Golf season is slowly swinging its way into Edmonton. The driving range of the Victoria Golf Course opens tomorrow at 9 a.m. The city says opening dates for Victoria, Riverside, and Rundle golf courses will be coming soon. No doubt inspired by the forecast, Josh, you have something good to share with them.
Yeah, Montgomery Glen Golf Course opens on Sunday. How about that?
I don't know where that is.
Wetaskiwin.
Wetaskiwin. Okay, there we go.
Beautiful.
Should we go out there?
Golf course out there. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
I'll see if I can get us tea time. It is going to be, if you're planning on hitting Victoria driving range tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., bring a toque and some gloves. It's going to be chilly. Temperatures will drop to about -8 again tomorrow morning. That's where we started today. We've fought all the way back to -1 so far. That's the daytime high so far. I think we may get to 0 here before the day is done. 11 is the average daytime high. We'll be back in that range Saturday, and then above average, close to 20, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of next week. This is what it looks like outside right now with the CTV drone. It's brought to you by Century Casinos. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, Century Mile. Nice to see some sunshine out there through this afternoon. Clouds hung around through this morning. Still a few snowflakes flying around through the first half of the day today, but really nothing in Edmonton compared to what other parts of the province dealt with. We got about 2 to 5 centimeters. You don't have to travel too far northeast or northwest to have encountered 10 to 20 centimeters of snow. We've got some showers falling right now in Grand Prairie. We may see some of that increased cloud cover come in from the northwest overnight tonight. And still a snowfall warning in effect further to the southeast. Red Deer picked up about 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. Calgary, in town, about 10 to 15. Outside the city, over 30 centimeters. And southeast of Drumheller and Youngstown, some of those areas could pick up over 40 centimeters of total snow by the time this is all said and done with. Here in the city, no snow in the forecast. Mostly cloudy and -8 tomorrow morning, up to about 7 or 8 degrees for a high tomorrow afternoon with partly cloudy skies. Just a slight chance of a couple sprinkles around supper time tomorrow. Full look at the warm weather on the way for the weekend and beyond. in just a few minutes.
Sounds great. Thank you, Josh. Still ahead, Albertans pushing back on companies using personal data to change their prices.
Sometimes airlines do have different pricing structures depending on where you buy your ticket.
We'll look at surveillance pricing and why some say shoppers need more protection. Also coming up.
We call it as part of our grandma rule, where we kind of do that. We treat everyone as if they're our own grandmas.
A local moving company doing its part to ensure the city's most vulnerable have what they need. How you can get involved next.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Edmonton High School students are getting their hands dirty and learning what it takes to be a firefighter. As CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti explains, the program is giving students more than just career opportunities.
These fire cadets are being put to the test on the sharp skills needed to save the day.
A little scared. I'm a little nervous because it is only our second time, but it's also like, oh, we got to get this under control. We got to get this stopped. We can't let it keep going. Like, I want to get this under control.
That's the mindset coordinator Chris Turner wants to see from these 20 high school students training with Edmonton Fire Rescue Services.
It gives them that challenge of knowing they can adapt under pressure. It's not something that anyone would have a chance to unless you're in the class.
Students can earn up to 6 high school credits during the 10-month program. They're taught about leadership, teamwork, and what it takes to be a firefighter.
We do almost everything that the recruits do. We just don't do it at the same, for the same volume and the same level.
Even at a lower level, it's a lot harder than it looks.
The claustrophobia stuff we did upstairs, really tricky. I never thought I'd be claustrophobic, but I was able to work on my breathing, get through it. Really difficult, just getting able to do things that I'd never been able to do before.
You get to experience live fire and what career firefighters go through in a safe setting.
This student has seen firsthand the positive impact firefighters can have.
My grandma's house almost burned down, and that was it was really amazing. The firefighters were able to protect the house and protect the area, and I thought that was amazing, and I want to do something like that for other people.
Extinguishing a hot situation as a team has been rewarding.
I'd love to be a firefighter one day. It's a great career, lots of opportunities to help people, lots of camaraderie.
Edmonton Fire Rescue Services says half these cadets will pursue careers like wildland firefighting, healthcare, or in the military. One teen wants to take these skills into space.
I want to be an astronaut and I work for CSA, so being a part of this program really helps me get into university to be able to go into that.
Gearing up for their future careers and to help others. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
A local moving company is honoring mothers while helping families in need. 2 Men and a Truck kicked off its 2nd annual Movers for Moms campaign. The company is collecting items for Hope Mission through May 5th. Items include cleaning supplies, hygiene products, diapers, and wipes. The company says it's part of its mandate to help out in the community.
This is our own way of giving back. We call it as part of our grandma rule, where we kind of do that. We treat everyone as if they're our own grandmas. So it's our way of giving back to the community as well.
The goal is to collect 1,500 items ahead of Mother's Day. You can drop off donations at the 2 Men and a Truck office or go to the company's website to find a drop-off location. Still ahead, golf ball-sized hail hammers the U.S. Midwest. A look at the damage after the break.
Yeah, I'll take a couple cooler days instead of golf ball-sized hail. There is warmer weather on the way, though, over the next couple of days. Back to double digits for the weekend, close to 20 by early next week. Those details after the break.
Let's talk about satellites and radars. Today, which is the one that's up in the sky taking pictures of the Earth? Is that a satellite or a radar? That's a satellite, that's right. We have 2 kinds. We have visual satellites that actually take pictures, and then we have infrared satellites that when it's nighttime come in handy for us, right? Because they can still show us where the clouds are. So those are up in the sky. Do they show us where precipitation is? Do satellites show us where precipitation is? No. What do we use to show where the precipitation is? The radar, that's right. So the radar is on the ground, it spins around, it sends out pulses of energy that bounce off precipitation and come back, and then it draws on the map where the rain or the snow is. So which one shows us clouds? Satellite or radar? Satellite. And which one shows us precipitation? Radar. Excellent. These are the grade 5s from? That's right. They are Weather Whiz Kids. And you are?
CTV Weather Watchers! Weather Watchers brought to you by the Alberta Teachers Association. Strong schools equal a strong Alberta.
Alberta travelers are weighing in on whether personal data could be affecting what they pay for flights online, amongst several other products. It comes after a federal push this week to ban so-called surveillance pricing failed in Parliament. Mark Villani has more on the issue and what to be aware of.
Travelers are always searching for a deal on flights, but is all that searching actually costing you more?
Without a doubt, in my mind, they are targeting that all the time.
It's called algorithmic pricing, the use of personal data like browsing habits, location, or past purchases, not just demand, to help set prices. Experts say it means two people in two different cities purchasing the same airline ticket could be paying two different prices. Keith Marsh is traveling from Calgary with his family. He says it's not just flights.
You're starting to see it in other industries now too, so they're replicating a lot of what they're doing. Make sure you're clearing your browsers, clearing your cookies. If you can afford it, get a VPN.
Air Canada told us algorithmic pricing was, quote, an urban legend. And WestJet also denies any use of personal information to determine flight costs. But passenger rights advocates say you should still watch for sudden changes.
Personally, I would always take screenshots. Then I can tell the airline, look, you have been advertising for this price. I've been accepting your offer to buy this flight for a given price.
Meanwhile, others still feel like it's unavoidable.
It's just kind of a free-for-all in terms of pricing.
You should be able to search and not have to be charged extra.
And a new poll from Abacus Data finds that Canadian consumers are skeptical. Nearly half noticed automatic price changes for flights, hotels, or online shopping. 52% say the practice should be banned, and about a third say more regulation is needed.
Regardless of who you are, you should be able to get a service or product for the same price.
It's unfair, it's a ripoff, and it's downright creepy.
The federal NDP pushed to ban the practice this week. Its motion was defeated. Manitoba's government also introduced legislation prohibiting retailers from using personal data.
Give out as little as possible. Tell white lies. Don't give your real birthday. Don't even give your real age on a survey.
Back in Alberta, the province says it's monitoring the situation. We have not heard that this is a concern in Alberta. In many cases, this type of pricing mechanism is used as part of a loyalty or rewards program, so we are not considering changes at this time.
It's something that, let's say, the government should start looking into.
A Midwestern U.S. town took a beating from a powerful hailstorm this week. Golf ball-sized hailstones rained down on the community, damaging vehicles and roofs. Flooding was also reported. About 6 centimeters of rain came down in a short time, along with that hail. You know, you hear about, hailstones compared to, nickel or toonie or golf ball, but that was terrifying. It's like, wow, I'll take the snow. The spring snow's fine.
It has been a very active start to the spring storm season stateside. Lots of severe weather. No severe weather in our forecast for the Edmonton area. Just that heavy snowfall warning still in place for the southeast corner of the province. I think that's probably going to get ended here in the next couple of hours. River Valley Skycams brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right, it's free. -1 right now. And as we said earlier, that is so far the daytime high. But I think there's a chance that once the official numbers come in for today that we get just back to 0. 2 degrees in Fort McMurray, 5 in Grand Prairie, and about -3 for a daytime high in Red Deer today. Look, Jasper, 9 degrees this afternoon. We'll see temperatures in the 7 or 8 degree range tomorrow. Big warm up starts this weekend, 12 Saturday. Mid to maybe even upper teens on Sunday, and then highs near 20 for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This little dip Thursday, Friday, there's a chance of some rain Wednesday night into Thursday. Temperatures will rebound pretty quickly after that. So most of the first half of April has been well below average for temperatures. Most of the back half of April, Looks like it's going to be average or above average for temperatures. There's your snowfall warning, still in place. You've got some yellow warnings and then a higher level orange warning for areas around Coronation and off to the south. But you'll notice Coronation, Wainwright, you're still under that warning. You're in the clear. This snow is all well to the south of you, and it's moving off and away. Same goes for Hannah, Drumheller, Calgary. It's really just kind of this band right here that has the chance still to pick up some heavy, significant amounts of snowfall over the course of the next couple of hours. There's your clearing from Edmonton off to the west. There's the increased cloud cover in the Peace Country and a little bit of shower activity and some mixed precipitation in that area. And some of that will slide far enough south to hit the Whitecourt, Edson areas, maybe even Evansburg off to the west of the Edmonton area. Could see a few wet flurries or some mixed precipitation later on this evening and overnight. Can we completely rule out a couple of wet snowflakes in the city? No. There's not going to be any significant snowfall, though, tonight. Tomorrow, skies will clear pretty quickly. We'll get under partly cloudy skies for most of the day, and then a couple of stray scattered showers. So maybe a few sprinkles there late in the day tomorrow, especially around supper time. This is the big story, though, not precipitation. Greens are back on the map for Friday. Watch the yellows start to pop in here Saturday. All of a sudden, some oranges. Temperatures close to 20 for daytime highs into early next week. Could see mid to upper 20s in parts of southern Alberta early next week. 2, Fort McMurray right now. It's 5 in Grand Prairie, -3 in Red Deer. We're at -1 in Edmonton. We'll slip to about -7 or -8 tomorrow morning. Some increasing cloud overnight, and those clouds will stick around early in the day, then up to about 7 or 8 degrees tomorrow afternoon. 12 and partly cloudy Saturday. 16 and partly cloudy Sunday. You get sunshine in the forecast with highs near 20 for Monday, Tuesday, and then that chance of some rain middle of next week.
All right, thank you, Josh. Still ahead on CTV News at 6, another temporary peace in the Middle East.
They're going to be having a ceasefire, and that'll include Hezbollah.
Israel and Lebanon reached an agreement, and
this is a good day for concert goers, and it was a very, very bad day for Live Nation Ticketmaster.
A jury tasked with looking at ticket sales finds an illegal and anti-competitive monopoly.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Programming brought to you by Century Casino, 3 great locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
U.S. President Donald Trump says Israel and Lebanon have agreed to a 10-day ceasefire beginning today.
We're going to be meeting with Bibi Netanyahu, as you know, and the president of Lebanon. And I had a great talk with both of them today. They're going to be having a ceasefire, and that'll include Hezbollah.
Trump says he invited leaders from both countries to the White House for talks. He says that could happen in the next week or two. Israel's prime minister confirmed his country agreed to the ceasefire, but the Israeli military will remain inside southern Lebanon in a 10-kilometer wide buffer zone. Today, Pope Leo criticized world leaders spending billions on war.
They turn a blind eye to the fact that billions of dollars are spent on killing, on devastation, yet the resources needed for healing, education, and restoration are nowhere to be found.
Speaking in Cameroon, Leo also criticized leaders who use religious language to justify wars. He's become an outspoken critic of the U.S. war with Iran. Today, Trump was asked about his ongoing war of words with the pontiff.
If the Pope looked at the 42,000 people that were killed over the last 2 or 3 months as a protester with no weapons, no nothing, I mean, you take a look at that. So I can disagree with the Pope. I have a right to disagree.
Trump first lashed out at the Pope last week after Leo criticized him over his threats to civilian infrastructure. An update now to the story of a Canadian man who experienced firsthand the harshness of an ICE detention center in Florida. Douglas Dixon is now on his way to his new home in Montreal after being deported for tax evasion. CTV's Judy Trent reports.
When he got off the plane, all Douglas Dixon had was a duffel bag and a yellow envelope containing his deportation order.
The nonsense that's going on in that country is just unbearable.
Dixon, a green card holder, is banned from returning to the U.S. 4 years ago, he pleaded guilty to tax evasion after his smoothie business closed during the COVID pandemic. Since 2022, he had paid back nearly $20,000, but still owed the government $12,000. In February, he was arrested by ICE and taken to Alligator Alcatraz. His friends were shocked.
It was blindsided, and in my opinion, he was a victim.
His hockey teammates wrote letters to the judge vouching for his character. They offered to pay off his debt.
What could we done? Well, we would, hey, let's have a GoFundMe. Let's have a charity hockey game to help out Dougie.
But it was too late. Under U.S. law, defrauding the government of more than $10,000 is considered an aggravated felony and grounds for removal.
With an aggravated felony, you get no rights. You can't go for bond, although we tried.
He was detained at Alligator Alcatraz and another facility for 65 days. In that time, Dixon spoke with, but did not see his wife and children. They sent a video message.
Love him so much and miss him very much. Yeah.
So proud to have to, it's been 2 months of being away. And I'm just proud that he has continued to wake up every morning, right?
Wow. Well, I'm glad. Do they have a copy of that I can keep forever?
I asked Douglas Dixon why he kept his financial troubles a secret and why he didn't reach out to his friends for help earlier. He said he was too proud and embarrassed that his business had failed. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
A ruling by a U.S. jury has found that Live Nation and its subsidiary Ticketmaster operated an illegal and anti-competitive monopoly and overcharged customers. As CTV's Andrew Johnson reports, it's a verdict that could change how millions of Canadians experience concerts.
Anyone who has ever felt ripped off by Ticketmaster will likely cheer this ruling. But in order to find out what will change, we need to wait for the encore.
Welcome to the Eras Tour.
The Taylor Swift Eras Tour ticket fiasco partially fueled the lawsuit, and the decision by the New York jury could be a devastating blow to massive concert promoter Live Nation.
This is a good day for concert goers. And it was a very, very bad day for Live Nation Ticketmaster.
The company could now be forced to split from Ticketmaster and pay hundreds of millions in fines. The jury also found Ticketmaster overcharged people by close to $2 per ticket. That money plus damages could be coming back to customers. And
it could lead to lower prices. What it almost certainly will lead to is more competition, more opportunities for acts to go to different venues and not end up where Ticketmaster takes a big percentage of the money that's coming out of fans' pockets.
That lawyer told me this U.S.-based ruling does apply to Canadians. If the judge awards damages to concertgoers, someone who bought a ticket to a Canadian show from Ticketmaster will be eligible. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
As our province deals with a fresh blanket of spring snow, out east things are a lot wetter. Water levels are rising rapidly in southern Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec. As CTV's Adrian Golberiel reports, one town has already declared a state of emergency.
A rush of flood warnings blanket parts of Quebec and Ontario.
The sort of wild card factor is Mother Nature, and it's just been raining incessantly.
In Sudbury, Ontario, local businesses have been hit hard.
Yesterday, we had almost 3 feet of water in our basement.
With the snow melt and heavy rain pushing water levels to their max in northern Ontario, farther south, multiple communities are bracing for the worst. In Peterborough, sandbag filling stations have been set up. Water levels along the Trent Severn Waterway in that community continue to increase, and concerns of a full-on flood in parts of that city are on the rise. In Laval, Quebec, the banks of the Mille-Île River have been breached, with homes now at risk. Nearby Saint Jerome, the pace of this rushing river indicates just how high water levels have risen. Back in Ontario, some communities here expect water levels to continue to increase for at least the next 48 hours.
As of yesterday, we had 15,000 sandbags filled.
You can see to the north of your community just how high the water levels are. It's heading this way. What is your concern this hour?
We have to look at the greater good of the whole population. We have limited resources, and you can't expend them all and risk people's lives to save somebody who did not take the warning.
Here in Minden, approximately 15 people have already been evacuated. They're sending 150 beds to the local community center, and officials here and across multiple provinces and communities are reminding the public to follow evacuation orders and road closures. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Minden, Ontario.
Still ahead, the impact of electric vehicle rebates.
We've seen an upward trend in the past already, and I think we're continuing through that, certainly with gas prices the way that they are now.
A major spike in EV sales even before the war in Iran sent oil prices skyrocketing. Also next, why the Canadian Real Estate Association is rethinking its housing market forecast. And there's a live look this evening from the CTV drone above the Victoria Golf Course in the North Saskatchewan River. Lots of snow left on the fairways, but it won't be there for very long. A big warm-up is on the way. Stay with us.
On your morning, the warm-up begins. We'll let you know what to expect as the snow melts away. Plus, the Oilers' hype zone returns as Edmonton begins another run toward the Stanley Cup. See you at 6.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
Checking on the markets, the Canadian dollar closed just under 73 cents U.S. Oil was up $3, closing today around $91 a barrel. Gold lost around $15 on the day. The TSX down 103 points. The Dow Jones gained 115. The Canadian Real Estate Association has downgraded its housing market forecast due to the spike in oil prices. The association is now expecting an increase in sales this year of 1%. That's down from its January forecast of more than 5%. The national average home price is forecast to rise by 1.5%. The association says the spike in oil prices has led to higher inflation, meaning the Bank of Canada is more likely to hike interest rates. That could mean higher mortgage rates for homebuyers. Amazon's new fuel surcharge will take effect tomorrow. Earlier this month, Amazon said it would add 3.5% surcharge to cover the cost of packing and delivering goods. Amazon says the charge is necessary to help cover rising fuel costs. Electric vehicle sales saw a significant jump. The same month, federal rebates on EVs came back into play. That was before a war in the Middle East sent oil prices skyrocketing, potentially leading some Canadians to rethink their next purchase. Andy Bergeron-Oliver has more.
Electric vehicles don't sit on the lot long at this Ottawa car dealership.
We're actively always trying to get more vehicles in our inventory for this.
Sales are growing and customer interest is too.
We've seen an upward trend in the past already, and I think we're continuing through that. Certainly with gas prices the way that they are now and the EVAP incentive on top of that, I think we're going to see continued interest as things move forward.
Across Canada, more people are making the move from gas to electric. New data show that in February, electric vehicle sales increased 47.2% over the year before, while the sale of new passenger cars dropped 3.8%. The data, captured before the war in Iran, sent gas prices soaring, and just as Ottawa was introducing incentives to reduce the cost of EVs.
We're right now shopping for an EV, largely because of the gas prices, and we also have one EV in the household. A second one will make it really a big savings for us on both the carbon footprint, the health sustainability side, and just about $300 to $350 a month.
But for those with an EV, charging can be a problem. Canada has less than 40,000 charging ports. Most aren't fast acting. And experts say trying to get chargers at home isn't cheap or easy.
We are in the right direction in investment in charging going in the next year. But if we are actually going to do what China has done, if we're going to do even what Norway has done in a few years, then we definitely have to build much more, I would say double, triple.
Canada is about to start allowing the import and sale of Chinese electric vehicles, and experts say that's likely to push up demand and potentially bring down the prices. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canada Post is planning to end door-to-door delivery for more than 130,000 homes by early next year. The Crown Corporation says it's in discussion with 13 communities across the country about phasing out home deliveries. It's part of a plan to move 4 million addresses to community mailboxes over the next 5 years. No Alberta communities are a part of this first step toward ending home delivery. Canada Post is also reviewing its retail network as it considers closing some post offices. After months of planning and a 40-hour road trip, dozens of Alberta-raised bison calves have made it safely to their new home in Alaska. 44 wood bison from Elk Island National Park east of Edmonton arrived in Fairbanks late Tuesday. Parks Canada says the move will help maintain a healthy habitat within Elk Island and ensure the iconic species roam North America for generations to come. It's the fourth transfer from Elk Island to Alaska since 2008. Another is planned to take place in the next 2 years. Coming up, life in space.
We're all kind of struck by these things that make us feel small. And that the sense I had was this sense of fragility and feeling small, infinitesimally small. But yet, this very powerful feeling as a human being, like as a group.
Personal experience of 4 people who flew further from Earth than anyone ever before.
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you tonight on CTV.
A week after splashing down back on Earth, the Artemis 2 crew is answering questions about the mission, life in the capsule, and what's next. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
They traveled more than 400,000 kilometers to the far side of the moon and back. Commander Reid Wiseman says the crew launched as friends and returned as best friends.
We are bonded forever. I mean, that's the closest 4 humans can be and not be a family.
For 10 days, the Artemis 2 crew captured the hearts and imagination of the world, going further and faster into space than any human has gone and seeing the moon and the world from brand new perspectives.
We're all kind of struck by these things that make us feel small. And that the sense I had was this sense of fragility and feeling small, infinitesimally small. But yet, this very powerful feeling as a human being, like as a group.
Speaking to reporters from the Johnson Space Center this afternoon, the crew says while they had an idea of the attention their mission was getting, they initially didn't know the extent of it until talking to their families back on Earth.
When my husband looked me in the eye on that video call and said, "No, really, you've made a difference," it brought tears to my eyes, and I said, "That's all we ever wanted."
Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen hopes this mission inspires the next generation of astronauts to dream big and says it underscores the importance of working together.
Don't do it alone, and share what you're trying to accomplish with others, because you need the support of others to do big things. And so share your goals, be brave enough to share them, and then you'll be surprised how people surround you and lift you up to accomplish them.
Asked how optimistic they are that humans could soon have a permanent presence on the moon, Commander Wiseman said not only is it doable, but doable soon. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
And Jeremy Hansen's back just in time for spring in Canada and golf season.
Yeah, temperatures warming up nicely over the next couple of days. It is going to be a little chilly again tomorrow morning, though. We've got a beautiful evening out there right now. Skies are pretty clear, but the cloud cover will increase overnight tonight. Will be mostly cloudy to start tomorrow, and then up to about 7 or 8 degrees in the afternoon. Light wind, partly cloudy skies. Slight chance of a little sprinkle around supper time tomorrow. 12 degrees Saturday, 16 on Sunday. That puts us back to above average through the weekend, and daytime highs around 20 with mainly sunny skies Monday, Tuesday of next week. And it looks like the warm temperatures are going to stick around. The coolest it gets after a chance of rain there Wednesday night into Thursday. Maybe there's one single-digit day next week, but most of next week actually looks average or slightly above average. So average change to the end of April.
Reasonable, I think is the word. Reasonable weather.
Everybody's celebrating.
All right. Now. Thanks, Josh. And thank you very much for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, check out our website, ctvnewsedmonton.ca. Have a great evening.